my neighborhood this morning, there was this weeping willow tree that was just catching me. I'm Abby, president of the fellowship this year. I returned to my true identity. Welcome, everybody. Come, whoever you are, holding various beliefs, whatever your skin color, whatever your age or gender identity, whatever your abilities, whomever you love. You're welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro. You're welcome in this, our religious home. Do we have any guests or visitors this morning? I didn't see them. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. If you don't know about our website at uustatesboro.org, we have a calendar that you can also use in the top tabs that go across the top. So I welcome you to check that out sometime. For the month of November, we're going to be sharing half of our plate that's not dedicated to Active Pledge with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, which is a branch of the larger organization that seeks to share funds with all of us through a partnership of sort of like a web of organizations. So in times of like disaster relief, that has been one of the ways they have organized their funds in order to help groups. I don't know a lot about this. I was looking online this morning, so if a lot of I have a little box that has a little coin drop at the top in case you want to check it out, and has some information around the box as well. And if anybody else wants to share anything that they've learned about the group, that's awesome. I know that we benefited from the Helene relief when we had a lot of trees down in our grounds, and there was a grant that was applied for, and we received $1,500 to help clear a lot of the trees and limbs that had fallen on our property. Now, if you will, join me in our congregational affirmation. Love
Loves the spirit of this fellowship and service is this prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
And I'll welcome Clint.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let us worship together. We will begin with the lighting of our chalice, symbol of our religious heritage. I will light our chalice and share our chalice reading. Then please rise as you are willing and able, and join in singing Rise Up, O Flame twice. This is our chalice
Of love and light, uniting us all by day and night. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Now let us honor the light within one another as we greet one another.
This morning. Oh, good, nice to see you. Missed you last weekend. No, we went to the I'm sorry.
as we listen to There Is More Love, performed by the First Unitarian Choir of Brooklyn. And now is the time for our story for all ages. If anyone would like to come forward. Young people or young at heart. Today's story is entitled The Invisible String by Patrice Karst. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly, it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried as they ran to her. "Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "We want to stay close to you, Jeremy," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know we're always together, no matter what." "How can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string. "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Liza asked. "She sure does," said Mom. "And best friends like me and Lucy?" asked Liza. "Best friends too." "How far can the string reach?" "Anywhere and everywhere," Mom said. "Would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean?" asked Jeremy. "Yes," Mom said, "even there." "Or a mountain climber?" "Even there." A ballerina in France? Even there. A jungle explorer? Even there. "How about an astronaut out in space?" "Yes, even there." Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?" "Yes, even there." "Does the string go away when you're mad at us?" "Never," said Mom. Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and you can't agree about things like what movie to see, or who gets to ride in the front seat, or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have too, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they could now clearly see. No one is ever alone. Where does your string go? Please join me in sharing our children's reciting our children's. We are Unitarian Universalist, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. This time we will sing our children out.
We shelter you. You are ours, and you pass through. Anna's coming. Yeah, she's coming. She's
Please join me in a time of meditation and reflection. Our reading today is entitled, Let Us Rest in This Peace, by Victoria Weinstein. Spirit of life and love, we have gathered again out of our separateness to know that we are not alone. In our fears, we are not alone. In our grasping for peace, finding it in fleeting moments, losing it again to some turmoil of the mind and heart, we are not alone. In our cynical moments, our wonderings, is this all there is? Is this the best we can do? We are not alone. In our pain, we are not alone. And so we dwell in you, Spirit of healing and wholeness, for this brief time, willing to be held here in an immense and eternal love, whose origins we do not know, whose reality is irresistible. It calls us on. It reaches between us to fill the spaces. It consoles the grieving, and it calms the anxious. It gives new vision to eyes dimmed by tears and exhaustion. It opens the ears to deeper truth. It makes a place in the heart as hope. Let us rest in this peace and be held here. Now let's take a moment of silent meditation or reflection. Amen. Say thank you to all who helped me this morning. I rode my motorcycle from Charleston to Statesboro, a mistake I will never make again. It's great and comfortable the first hour. After that, it's not so comfortable. When the sun goes down, it gets very cold very quickly. But thank you to Adrian for loaning me the guitar and capo, and for everyone who brought a capo today that I ended up not needing because I had Adrian's. Thank you. Please join with me in singing We Shall Overcome, followed by We Are Not Afraid, We Are Not Alone, and We Shall All Be Free. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that today's message may diverge from some established religious norms. As I considered what to speak about today, on this first Sunday of November, which every year happens to fall just 2 days before the first Tuesday of November, I asked myself, should I avoid preaching about politics? Then almost immediately, my mind countered with another question. How could I not preach a political message on this of all days? For the presidential election just 2 days away, it's no secret that many of us are deeply concerned, perhaps even worried, about what the results could mean. The gravity of this moment presses on us, urging us to confront what's at stake in the days ahead. How can we, as a community grounded in shared values, gather today without addressing the realities weighing so heavily on our hearts and minds? To ignore the elephant so clearly in this room, I believe, would be irresponsible. As I continued to ponder the question of political sermons, I came to another realization. Unitarian Universalists are already political. There's no denying that. Our commitment to human dignity, equality, and compassion naturally draws us toward issues aligned with these values. Our mission is not, nor can it be, apolitical. However, even as we engage with matters of justice, we do hold to a principle within our congregations. We strive to remain nonpartisan, honoring the diversity of thought and conviction within this community. This is the norm that I may stretch today. I will try not to stretch it to the point of breaking, but I make no promises. The stakes of this election are too high to pretend that the election's outcome will be equally beneficial or equally harmful, regardless of who wins. As much as I would love to stay objective, I fail to see how any objective observer could hear the former president's words and witness his actions and still think he is qualified to serve another term. acknowledging that one possible result of Tuesday's election poses a far greater threat than the other makes me biased or partisan, so be it. Because in truth, the difference is profound. In fact, it is so profound that to claim neutrality would not only be disingenuous, it would be absurd. So if it's okay, I'm just going to be honest and say, I desperately want to see Vice President Harris and Governor Walz prevail this Tuesday. I wish I could tell you that I chose to title this sermon, It Is Well With My Soul, because I have an unshakable confidence that the American people will make the right decision this Tuesday. But honestly, I have a terrible track record when it comes to predicting the outcomes of presidential elections. In 8th grade, I confidently told my classmates that this Bill Clinton guy didn't stand a chance of winning. Then in my junior year of high school, I was sure Bob Dole would come out on top. 4 years later, I predicted my first Democratic victory, and I still think I was right about that one, but history says otherwise. I went on to foresee wins for John Kerry, John McCain, and Mitt Romney. Then on November 8th, 2016, I went to bed feeling confident that our nation would choose a smart, competent, and accomplished former senator and secretary of state over a failed businessman turned reality TV host. But when I woke up the next morning, I decided it was time to stop predicting election outcomes. I stand by that decision to this day. So I cannot ease your fears by predicting a victory for Harris. Part of me is tempted to ease my anxiety by convincing myself that since we endured one Trump presidency, we can make it through another. But the truth is, that kind of reassurance is a product of privilege. As a male, I walk through this world with fewer obstacles than many others face, simply because of my gender. Being a cisgender man, I never worry that others might challenge or question my identity. I can live as myself without feeling the need to explain or defend who I am. Though I am not white, my appearance often allows me to pass as a white man, giving me access to spaces and assumptions that would otherwise be closed off. And as an American citizen, born and raised here, I've always had the luxury of knowing I have rights that others might only hope for or are still fighting to attain. Privilege allows me to shrug off my worries by telling myself we can survive a second Trump presidency just as we survived the first. I can say this, frankly, because I was not directly affected by some of the worst policies of his administration. But my daughters don't share that privilege. The Trump administration deliberately chose judges intent on stripping away their reproductive rights and bodily autonomy. And now he has the unmitigated gall to try to gaslight us into believing this is what everyone wanted all along. My transgender brothers and sisters do not have the privilege of shrugging off concerns about an administration that rolled back health care protections, banned them from serving in the military, exposed them to discrimination and harassment in work and school, and thrust them into the center of a culture war for political gain. Immigrants and asylum seekers certainly do not share my privilege. For families separated at the border, the first Trump administration was not merely inconvenient, it was traumatizing. Parents and children were torn apart, often with no way of knowing if they would ever see one another again. Immigrants from predominantly Muslim countries faced fear and trauma, targeted and barred from entering the country, leaving wounds that still have not healed. Our environment, too, suffered under policies that ignored climate science, dismantling safeguards for our air, water, and land. And while this affects everyone who inhabits the globe, it was the poor, the marginalized, and the most vulnerable communities who felt the impact most acutely. So I apologize if today's message seems too partisan, but I simply cannot stand here today and say to myself or to you, don't worry, we'll survive another 4 years of a Trump presidency. To say that is to ignore the reality faced by so many who do not have that luxury. It is to forget the harm already done and to dangerously underestimate the harm that still could come. In this time of great uncertainty, I have had to ask myself, what do I hold on to when certainty fails me? How do I find peace when I cannot guarantee that justice will prevail? I have wrestled with these questions, and I do not think I'm alone. The truth is, a second Trump presidency will bring great suffering. It will exacerbate the fear and anxiety of those who already feel their lives and rights are hanging in the balance. And for those of us who want this nation to be more just, more inclusive, and more compassionate, it will be a profound setback. So I cannot stand before you today in good conscience and say everything will be fine. We'll make it through. I don't know that. None of us do. What I do know, however, is that I have a choice in how I respond, a choice in where I place my hope, how I carry myself through whatever may come. And so after much reflection, I have made the decision that regardless of what happens in this election, it is well with my soul. To be clear, this does not mean I am downplaying the seriousness of this election, nor am I ignoring the potential harm to those who are most vulnerable. I am not turning a blind eye to the suffering we have seen once before and that we may see again. And I am not pretending that another 4 years of regression on issues of justice and equality is just a minor inconvenience. What I am saying is that I have made a commitment to myself, a decision that no matter who holds power, my soul will be at peace. In the late 1800s, Horatio Spafford, a prominent lawyer and businessman from Chicago, experienced a series of tragedies. First, in 1871, he lost much of his wealth when the Great Chicago Fire swept through the city, devastating his properties. Seeking solace and healing for his family, Spafford planned a trip to Europe in 1873 with his wife Anna and their 4 young daughters, Annie, Maggie, Bessie, and Tanetta. Business matters delayed him, so he sent his family on ahead, planning to follow shortly. But as their ship, the SS Ville du Havre, crossed the Atlantic, it collided with another vessel and sank rapidly. All 4 of Spafford's daughters perished. Anna alone survived, sending Horatio a devastating telegram from England that read, "Saved alone." Grief-stricken, Spafford immediately set out to join his wife. As his own ship passed over the area where his daughters had tragically perished, he made his way to the deck of the ship, where he stood gazing out at the tempestuous waves that stole his daughters from him. And there he penned the words, "When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul." Whether the coming days, months, and years bring us peace like a river, or if they carry sorrow rolling like sea billows, that I cannot predict, and I certainly cannot control. But what I can control is how I allow these experiences to shape my inner peace. Just as Horatio Spafford stood at the edge of unimaginable loss and made the choice to affirm, "It is well with my soul," I too must choose to carry my own peace with me, not as a denial of reality, but as a grounding force amid uncertainty. My peace does not come from naive optimism or detachment from the struggles we face. It comes from a commitment to anchor myself in what matters most: love, justice, compassion, and resilience. Whatever may come, I choose to hold steady in my soul, even when the world around me feels unsteady. In this resolve, this decision allows me to say, "It is well with my soul." In the early 20th century, Reinhold Niebuhr, a young pastor in Detroit, witnessing firsthand the harsh realities facing industrial workers, many of whom endured grueling hours for meager wages, came to realize his theology of well-intentioned ideals alone was insufficient to bring about any meaningful change. Niebuhr saw the human tendency toward selfishness and pride at work in social systems, even among those who claimed to be acting for the greater good. Over time, this led him to develop a theology he called Christian realism, the idea that while humans are capable of good, we are also driven by our darker impulses, and therefore our actions must be rooted in both realism and hope. Niebuhr's Christian realism inspired a life of activism. He worked to challenge injustice wherever he saw it, yet he remained aware of the limitations of any single person, no matter how determined. Niebuhr learned the importance of balancing the courage to act with the wisdom to recognize where change was not in his control. In this tension between action and acceptance, he penned a prayer with which we are probably all familiar today. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Niebuhr's prayer is more than just a few pretty words for a decorative plaque in our home, more than the familiar opening at a 12-step meeting. It is a guiding principle for navigating a world that is often unjust and unpredictable. Niebuhr's prayer served as his most memorable message, teaching us that we can be both clear-eyed about the challenges we face while remaining grounded in peace. This peace is not born of apathy or ignorance. It isn't about surrendering to the forces of injustice. Rather, it comes from knowing that even in the midst of chaos, there are things I can control. I can control my response. I am in control of my actions. I am in control of my commitment to doing what is right. This peace I speak of today is a refusal to let fear, anger, or disappointment consume me to the point where I lose sight of my core values. If we are to be effective agents for change, standing up to those in power and demanding justice, then we must be grounded in peace. Let me clarify. This applies regardless of who wins the election. I may be in the Harris camp, but if she wins, her administration must still be held accountable. Regardless of who sits in the Oval Office on January 20th, we must remain unwavering in our commitment to justice, anchored by a peace that keeps us steady, even as we fight for change. And so, I choose to stand here today with a calm resolve, not because I am unbothered or indifferent, but because I know that whatever the outcome, our work will continue. We will still strive for justice, fight for the oppressed, and support one another through whatever challenges lie ahead. In this, I find strength. In this, I find peace. And in this decision, grounded in love, resilience, and hope, I can say with confidence, it is well with my soul. Amen, and may it be so. And we continue to reflect on the message as Mortimer sings, it is well with my soul.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. Though pain
offering will be gratefully received. As we pass the plates, remember you can virtually donate on the webpage at uustatesboro.org. Thank you for your commitment to the ongoing work inside these walls and out in the community.
Give thanks for the corn and the wheat that are reaped, for labor well done, and for barns that are heaped, for the sun and the dew, and the sweet honeycomb, for the root and the song, and the harvest brought home. Give thanks for the mills and the farms of our land, for craft and the strength in the work of our hands, for the beauty our artists and poets have wrought, for the hope and affection our friendships have brought. Give thanks for the homes that with kindness are blessed, for the seasons of plenty and well-deserved rest, for our country extending from sea unto sea, for ways that have made it a land for the free.
If you have a joy or concern you would like to share with the congregation, we invite you to do so now. You can light a candle or place a stone for your joy or concern.
So I'm Adrian, and I have to say, I think that sermon took care of my concern. Thank you for that. And my joy is that so many of us went yesterday for the Alzheimer's walk. So I thank everybody who walked, and I thank everybody who donated money. And I'm sure that Alzheimer's Association would be very, very happy to take further donations should they be provided. But I just want to say how I feel like our congregation does a really good job at many things, and one of those is being present in the community for things like this walk. So thanks to everybody.
My name is Mike, and this panel is for rewatching a TV series that I had watched about a year ago, Designated Survivor on Netflix. That is a sort of hospice idea, but the themes that run through it are so much evident today. Driven by fear, people demanded action, and the designated survivor, who was only the Secretary of Housing at the time, who is now the President, had to work to find a balance, to seek justice, and to keep the country together. Fear is the driving force of what this election is about. And what we need to be thinking about is, don't let fear be the thing that is in the forefront of your mind. Think more about what are your beliefs, your determination, your sense of justice, and always work towards being honest with yourself. For only when we turn fear away do we ever really gain a country.
Okay, I'm gonna share something. I'm county wrestler, and they say learn something new every day. I think I made it clear that I'm going to be a great grandmother, and I hope you'll pardon me when I use the word urine. They can tell the gender of the unborn child by the urine of the pregnant mother. And I know this is incredible. So, my grandson's wife, Joyce, they tested her urine and they're expecting a baby girl. And I mean, I just think that's incredible that they can tell. And so, the baby girl is due on what would have been my mother's birthday, April 16th. So we're all very happy, of course. And we'll see them on Thanksgiving. And I have a lot to be thankful for. And I know we're all very concerned about the election. And if Trump wins, it'll help us. And when Kamala wins, Trump will demand a recount. And he'll say, I really won, but the election was rigged, and you know exactly what he did. And Adrian's nodding. Okay.
This is a candle of concern for dear friend Indira. She's a UU member in Abingdon, Virginia, and she's about to start some very heavy duty chemo for some rare bladder cancer. Whole things going on, so she's reminded. Thank you.
As you all know, my mother has Alzheimer's, early onset. She's still very young. I'll do math, she was born in 58 anyway. But she's still very young. But lately, it's not been so much that her memory has gotten worse, but she's having moments of extreme rage and lashing out at my dad. And, so my candle is for both of them, but really for my dad, who works and then comes home and takes care of all the house stuff and takes care of mom and pays my aunt to stay with her when he's not there. He's really doing as much as he can do, and our family will have wisdom in what to do when he can't do it anymore. Please join me in prayer for our joys and sorrows, followed by singing Spirit of Life. As we come together as a community, sharing our joys and sorrows in this sacred space, we lift up our hearts, celebrating the moments that bring us joy, and acknowledging the challenges that weigh upon us. May we find solace in our collective love and understanding, and may our connections deepen as we navigate the varied paths of life. Spirit of life, bless this community. And may our shared joys and concerns weave a tapestry of compassion that binds us together in love. Amen. Please stand as you are
All the stirrings of compassion. hold me close. Please set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
You may be seated. We invite those who are working in their homes to extinguish any flames you have in your homes. We extinguish our chalice with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Announcements that I pulled from the newsletter. Zen meditation, Fridays at 9 a.m. And save the date for the winter solstice celebration. I went last year for the first time, and it was wonderful. December 21st at 5:30 p.m. at Reverend Jane's home. Are there any other announcements?
I saw that Abby had written potluck November 7th. So in a couple of weeks after church, we'll have a potluck again.
And to let people know, the day after Election Day, on Wednesday, at the Mind and Body Center, we are having a gathering for meditation from 11 until 6. You're not expected to be there for the whole time, and we will be doing it in little shifts. So it'll be 20 minutes of sitting meditation, 20 minutes of walking meditation. We'll alternate between that. So if you feel a need to come and recenter yourself on that day, I invite you to join. People will be there, so please join us if you would like.
As you may have heard, we are in our Canvas stewardship season. Next Sunday, we are to vote on a budget. And right now, we have pledged about 50% of what we need in order to make that budget anything close to workable. So if you haven't completed, either online or by paper, your pledge form, and you would like to be a part of this effort going forth next year, please do so today. I will be happy to give you a paper form, and you can fill it out and give it right back. Or you can scan the QR code and do it online this afternoon in the privacy of your home. Mo and I will be reaching out to you if we don't hear from you today. And you gave us something last year just to make sure you're not interested in continuing to give, because we would really like that. So next Sunday is our annual meeting. We hope you will all come. It will be right after the service, and we will not only pass a budget, but we will also be voting on our officers for next year, as well as some decisions about our ministry going forward. So please plan to be with us. Thanks, Clint.
I want to add an unsolicited testimonial about the budget. You know, look around. There aren't as many of us as there were a few years ago. And our expenses don't go down. They go up just like everybody else's, the church's expenses. We're looking at a year of great change in our congregation, with Jane retiring, and the board and the congregation charged with how are we going to move forward? Are we going to have more guest ministers? Are we going to try to call another part-time minister? We need money for any of that to happen. So even if you have already written a check, if you're written your commitment and said, oh, I'll give another $500, I'll give another $1,000, whatever you said, look at whether you can really do a little more, because we're going to need it to continue to thrive. So if you're where you can, this isn't, some of us worry about guilting people. We're the guilt-free church. You can come and you don't have to pay. And all that's true, but we're all responsible to and for one another. So if you are able, please give. If you're able to give a little more, please do. Thank you. Board meeting at 2, if anybody wants to join on Zoom. It's open to all members. Board meeting today at 2 on Zoom.
Please stay rise and body your spirit as we sing our meditation.
Oh,